are the coolest dudes on the planet?
United States veterans.
What's the coolest sport on the planet?
Pro wrestling.
And what would be the coolest podcast on the planet? That would be this one.
U.S. military vets talking pro wrestling.
This is the No Shave Man Cave. Two badass disabled vets sharing their love of pro wrestling, giving you their perspective as fans, talking about current events and matches, history of titles, and who knows what else. Let's do it.
Welcome to the No Shave Men Cave. Now your hosts, Ellie Jair and Jay Tilley.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, wrestling fans, and sports entertainment fans, welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. I'm Ellie Jair.
I am Jay Tilley.
Man, we haven't talked in a minute about some wrestling. And, thank you to our internet provider and getting us all situated. I have been in the dark ages, and man, I have wanted to hear what you thought about Backlash.
Oh, man, I thought Backlash was a hell of a card. I had some complaints, obviously. I mean, nothing's perfect unless it's AEW. Just kidding. WWE fans, just kidding.
Write that down.
But, I thought the card was, this card was really, really good. And there were definitely some key moments that, we'll just jump right into it, man. I thought the Bad Bunny Damian Priest had to be one of, not only one of the best celebrity matches I've seen, but definitely seems to be one of the best almost hardcore street fight matches. I really dug that match.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I thought the way it started, so the crowd was on 5 when it started. So and what we didn't see before was they had some matches, some dark matches before. They had a pre-card and then they rolled right into the regular card. Every match, they kept getting louder and louder and louder. So the WWE has 4 million followers. And I was listening to a podcast the other day. They were talking about in relation to Metallica and some of the other big groups who have between 1 and 4 million, 5 million followers. Bad Bunny has 47 million freaking followers. And it sounded like every single one of them was in that stadium. And I don't know the total seating, but on the stadium information, it said that it could seat 17,894. I think people were sharing some seats because it was freaking loud. The cameras were shaking, and I was like, dude, that is awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely a loud crowd. I mean, even SmackDown the night before was amazingly loud, to the detriment of us poor Jacksonville people and the pitiful crowd we showed up on Raw with. But, man, the emotion of the Selena Vega Rhea Ripley match was fantastic.
Yeah, that was great.
They did a really good job. And I mean, of course it was emotional for her. She's home, but she, got very upset and I just thought that was very powerful. And I love the match in general. Rhea almost played with it a little bit and then was like, all right, I'm done. And just boom, ended it real quick. And I thought that's the way to do it. That's how you make a monster of a champion.
Did you feel like they missed a moment there with putting the belt on Selena for a couple weeks?
No, it would have been a bad call if they'd have flipped it over to her. I think, no offense to Selena Vega, but she's not ready to carry the belt yet. And I mean, really, you don't even see her in the ring that much. She's usually just a valet. So I don't think it was time to pull yes, I think it would have been a huge pop, but story wise, then you make Ripley look not as strong.
So a little backstory. Zelina Vega is originally from New York. Her father passed away at the Twin Towers, unfortunately. And a couple years ago, the WWE ended up changing the card. So she was in the building, but she didn't wrestle. And she hasn't wrestled in New York since September 11th. And since the original September 11th. So they, not that any superstar is owed anything. I mean, AEW goes to the nines when they were in Britsburg, when Hangman won the title in Chesapeake, which is, his stomping grounds. I just think what they could have done based on what they did last night on Raw is they had Rhea in a squash match with Dana Brooke, and they could have done that same exact match. She comes out without her title. She's fired up, just upset, and she thumps Dana Brooke and, then says, "Hey, I will see you on Friday night," because Zelina's on Friday night. And that's the, Friday Night SmackDown title. She goes back, she wins the title, no harm, no foul. Or Zelina comes out, she defends the title, Rhea comes out, thumps her, and says, "I will see you next week. That's my title, I'm getting it back." But just imagine the roar that they would have had. The most dangerous move in wrestling, the small package. She gets a roll up, 1, 2, 3, slides out. She wins the title in front of, where her family's originally from. I was like, man, that was a little bit of my AEW brain in my heart. And I just think WWE, they messed up at WrestleMania. They had some questionable booking the way these last couple of shows have gone. But, I think Rhea looks super strong. Her gear was on point.
I love the white gear.
And that was the thread throughout all of the night with Damian Priest. He was rocking the white gear, and he was wearing the gear that he wore when Bad Bunny and him had a tag team match. I was like, ooh, little something there. So kudos to them, tying those things together. And, for whatever it's worth, I think that match, the emotion, the love that crowd gave Zelina was awesome.
Yeah. The entrance with the flag attached to her and all that stuff was fantastic.
That was neat.
Yeah, they did a good job with that for sure. Then the Bianca Belair Io Sky.
Oh my God.
Holy cow. Man, I told you.
Dude.
I told you that could be match of the night, and I think it was.
Outside of Bianca dropping Io on her face.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I think that was fantastic. What'd you think about Io getting the crowd?
I loved it.
Love, and Bianca getting a little boo, and Bianca was a heel in NXT.
So to be honest with you, that's where I think they should have pulled the trigger for a title change. Even if they'd have done it on the fly, I think the response that Io was getting, I think pulling that trigger and giving her the title then would have been a lot, because Bianca's broken the record. She's had it for the longest. It would have been okay to kind of flip it real quick. And that crowd would have blown up.
Oh,
I love the
yeah.
fact that Io was getting the cheers. That was so cool. She deserves it. She's so good.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that Io came out second too. So I was like, why? And it maybe it meant nothing, but then did it mean nothing? Was it something? Was it just like some probing? Hey, let's see what kind of response Io's going to get. And that little layback thing that she does. And I thought the entrances for all of the superstars were great, but Bad Bunny, when his music hit, dude.
That was probably one of the best entrances I've seen.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that entrance.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Even the stage for Backlash, I love the minimal, it wasn't a whole lot to it, but man, it was awesome. It felt different. It felt different than the normal Raw and SmackDown and all that, and I really enjoyed it. Other stuff there wasn't a whole lot much to talk about. The Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, Bronson Reed went exactly how I think you and I talked about it. Seth Rollins almost, again, went exactly kind of how we thought it was going to go. I think it went a little longer than I expected, but it wasn't a bad match. It just was like, meh, okay. Almost is kind of coming into his own with the big man style. So it definitely, he's getting better. I'm enjoying watching him a little bit.
Do you think this was I read some stuff where they thought it was a burial
For Omos?
Yeah.
No, he shined pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought whatever's in their coffee, I want none of. He was earning it. I thought he looked great. That curb stomp off the top rope.
Yeah.
Just screams, this guy is a monster, and I got to pull out all the stops.
I definitely don't see a burial. He went toe-to-toe with Lesnar and put on a pretty decent match. He just went toe-to-toe with Rollins and put on a pretty decent match. So I did not see burial at all. I thought it was decent. I thought, to be honest with you, I thought, I could see almost going over and trying to take on, Roman. I mean, it obviously won't win, but at least it'll be a nice little challenger for Roman, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought he looked great. I thought the crowd response I thought was absolutely positive. And that crowd, when Cody's whoa, when that hit, I thought, okay, this has been a great night. I love the Uno Dos Tres, Bad Bunny's entrance. It was all in all, man. I really thought it was a great night, and kudos to the WWE for what they the show that they put on, and kudos to San Juan too.
Yeah, so speaking of the Cody Brock match, what did you think of that match?
So first off, I liked sort of the tributes that Cody had kind of squeezed in there with Santino Marella, he had done the pedigree before he hit a cutter or a RKO, but I wish Cody would have been the one that busted Brock open, not the turnbuckle, because then it would have been like, damn, Cody's pissed. He's trying to get his, but instead it looked like he lucked into it, and we would later see the ramifications of that. I do like that he won, and the way he won sort of makes him credible in the sense that he's got wrestling skills, but at the same time, it was like, I don't know the right word, because it wasn't like a chicken shit move. It was just like he rolled him up. Brock thought he was going to tap. He got the 3. Brock got a freaking standing ovation. And, but yeah, I thought the match was really good. I'm glad Cody got the win. I actually thought blood made sense in this match. And I think there's going to be a lot of blood at Night of Champions in this match.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, WWE still saying it was an accident and it was the hard way, but there's no way. But
yeah, Brock's got his own rules, so it's
yeah,
whatever.
Exactly, and so does Cody. But I disagree, man. I thought Cody did look like he had a chicken shit win. I didn't like.
Okay.
So I didn't like him attack. So he's the babyface, and he comes in and he's attacking like before the bell starts. So right there, I'm like, come on, man. Like, I understand you're mad, but at least let the bell ring and then take it outside and do your power up. But he kind of attacked him right away. So it almost flipped the roles to where like I'm rooting for Brock now because he got jumped. All right, well, screw you, Cody. Like, Brock needs to get ahead. Like, now Brock's the underdog. You're like, yeah. And I didn't do that. But I mean, psychology wise, that's what you look at. Like, if it was your first time turning on WWE wrestling and you're watching this match, like if we had somebody over that hadn't watched anymore and didn't know the backstory, they would look at it and go, oh, I guess that guy's the bad guy? Oh, no, actually, he's the good guy. Well, he's attacking that guy before the ring. So I thought that was kind of crappy. And then I thought the ending made Brock look stupid, and I thought it made Cody look like a coward. So how does Brock not know that his shoulders are being pinned? Like, how does he not realize that he's pinned? The minute he rolled back and felt his shoulders, and here's the referee counting, why wouldn't you let go of the hold? And it's not like Cody was tapping, and it's not like it wasn't like the screwy finish where you see Cody tapping or anything like that.
Okay.
Like, so it's like, why not just let go of the hold? Because now it just didn't make sense, that part of it. So I thought it made Brock look dumb. And then it made Cody look like, oh, I stole one, the way he pinned him and then runs out of the ring like he's scared of Brock again. And so I thought that was kind of like, I don't know. I just had an issue with the booking of the match. The match itself, the duration of the match and everything going on, I thought was perfect. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I thought they did a good job. The booking of the beginning and the end wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy it. And I thought it hurt both characters, in my opinion.
Wow. Yeah, that's, I mean, all of what you said, it totally makes sense. And with the, them trying to build these characters to make them look stronger and stronger. And we keep going back to the Attitude Era when The Rock was bigger than the WWE, Stone Cold was bigger than the WWE. And, you've got Monday Night Raw with 2 huge baby faces, Cody and Seth Rollins. And then you have Roman Reigns over on Friday night. It's a good problem to have, but if you're going to mess up the storyline with like weird free agents and then wonky booking, now that you're saying that, it doesn't change my beard rating, but what you're saying makes psychological wrestling psychology makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my issue with that. But other than that, I thought, and then I guess the Uzos and Matt Riddle and Owens and Zayn was okay. I mean, it kind of went exactly what we talked about. I was surprised the Usos got the win, but I guess that's going to carry on to the story. But you could definitely see the dissension in the ranks. So I didn't really have a whole lot now that it's 3 days later to talk about on all that. But we'll see what comes of it on a Friday night, I guess.
Oh my goodness. It's going to be like, hey, Tribal Chief, it's good to see you again. We haven't heard from you in a while. You saw that win, right? You saw us get the win. And then, we've heard Solo's voice twice now.
Yep.
And, everybody did their part. They got the win. And now the tag team champions are over on Monday. But that doesn't really solve anything because they're still the tag champs. So they're going to be bouncing shows. So it'll be the fallout, I think, is a good way to put it. And, is what is Roman going to be like, well, a little too late, or you wouldn't have been able to do anything without Solo. And then, or, maybe he makes a comment about how Solo performed, and then Solo gives him the Inoue, stink eye, the Samoan stink eye. But yeah, I thought the win was a huge surprise. I liked how everybody got their stuff in. And like we had talked about, like, oh yeah, someone's going to swerve somebody and Sammy and Kevin are going to get the win. But that was not the case.
No. Yeah, I thought it was going to go a little different, but that was all right. So what was your overall beard rating for Backlash?
I gave it 4.5 beards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought this from the minute that drone hit and came in and showed the crowd and the how live they were. And I don't know if drinks were free, but man, by the middle of the show, we were talking at work, and we've exposed people, don't make it weird, to professional wrestling and sports entertainment on a whole new level where we work. And when people start talking about it and we give them our two different versions, my WWE brain and your AEW brain, people are like, oh, dang, for real? And, hearing other people's like, well, I'm not really sure, because that didn't make, I think to myself, okay, yeah, that sort of is cool. But the card, the psychology of, most of the matches, the card flow, I was surprised that Seth Rollins and Omos went on second. And normally that's like an indictment. But man, that was a great match. The crowd was into it. From the first match to that damn Bad Money entrance, I thought they were going to run out of gas, and that crowd was all about it. It was a short pay-per-view too, in relation to most shows. But kudos to San Juan. Kudos to all the producers of the matches. And to the superstars, that phenomenal 4.5.
Yeah, I went 4. I enjoyed it. I can't really add much to what you said. I thought the in-ring action was really good. And I have to say that with the Papa H booking style, these premium live events don't rely on as much. Now WrestleMania did, but they had 2 nights to fill. But there's not as much fluff, I don't think. And I've noticed like Backlash, and I don't remember which one. It wasn't Royal Rumble. It was one of the other ones. Maybe, I don't remember. Maybe it was Money in the Bank or something. But it's just match. There's not a whole lot of backstage stuff. There's not a whole lot of other stuff. And I appreciate that. And I think it's funny. I have a theory on why Raw crowds are so quiet. And I think Backlash kind of backs up some of the stuff I've been thinking about. And I think it has to do with the pacing of Raw. Because think about it, if you're in, we can talk about when we get into Raw, but yeah, I gave it 4. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good stuff. I'll talk about it now. We'll just keep going. But so transitioning from that into Raw on Monday night, we absolutely, I can attest to the fact that Jacksonville wrestling crowds can be very loud. I've been to several of them here in this, in wrestling, whether it's, the WrestleCon match where there's 15 people there, we get pretty rambunctious, and AEW is loud. They make a lot of noise. That Raw crowd was dead. And, well, I mean, I don't think they weren't dead the whole night. Excuse me. They started off hot. I thought Cody's entrance, Seth's entrance, they started off really hot, and then it just kind of went, and then by the end of the night, they're just kind of golf clapping. And I was watching it, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, man, like, why? Well, then I started thinking of it as a TV viewer. I get up, I go get my popcorn, and I got I know when Raw starts, I have 45 minutes till I see the first match.
Oh, okay.
You know, and then after that match, which may be a squash that's over in 65 seconds, I think was the Rhea match eventually. Like,
Oof,
I think,
yeah.
okay, well, now I know I've got another 15 to 20 minutes before something else happens. And I think that hurts the live crowd for Raw because I think they got so up for Cody. I think if they would have rolled right into Cody, hey, let's get this title started. Boom, let's start the match right then. I think the crowd would have been up. I think then the Brock attack happens. You get legitimate boos. You don't have to pipe them in because now the crowd's into it. Then you roll right into another match. And I just think that the fact that they take so many breaks between matches, I would see myself sitting at that going, like, when are we going to get to some action? Like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Whereas I think AEW kind of has the opposite problem. They give you too much. And then by the end, you're just like, oh my God, I'm tired. Yay.
Almost
like,
overwhelmed. Yeah.
I'm worn out. So,
yeah.
And I may be completely wrong, but it's something I want to start looking at now because I'm going to be like, I'm curious, like, why these US crowds right now, when WWE's doing their rounds, are just dead. Like, you see them in the background, they're just sitting there watching, like, just watching it to watch it. And I'd be curious if they paced it differently as a live show instead of catering it to the television show, if it would make a difference.
Yeah, that's interesting. I felt like the first hour of the show moved along really nice. The Cody almost saying AEW without saying AEW.
Yeah, I thought that was really good.
That was really good. The whoa, and then when he dropped that Duval, I was like, okay. I liked the Imperium interaction. That to me was a good introduction to who and what Imperium is, and it allowed Kevin and Sammy to sort of use their personality.
Yeah.
The biggest curveball for me,
his finger's still in my face. I can't talk. He's standing right here. I thought that was great.
This is so annoying. And then he was talking. He's like, he's still standing here. Like,
yeah,
he's so distracting.
Just standing there looking at me. I thought that was one of the best backstage. I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. The big curveball for me, though, I was really surprised that Ali got the win over Otis. So that, to me, is something that they need to do with Damage Control and really start to sprinkle in, what was what. Speaking about what was what, good golly, Miss Molly, what was going on with Bailey's gear? Woo! I thought we were going to have I thought we were going to have a malfunction.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a lot of trust in that.
There, yeah. God bless the seamstress on that one because there was a lot going on there.
It's a shame that I was so into the match, I didn't notice it during the match. I didn't notice it till Twitter started blowing it up. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I noticed the yellow flags, very safety patrol looking, and the little triangle she was wearing. I noticed that, but the pants. I was like, what the hell?
I was like, all right,
let me tell you something.
See
Bobby.
What's going on.
Yeah, it was.
Tell you what, Bobby, boy's been in the tool shed whacking. But so I thought that was Otis going over or getting beat by Ali, sort of sprinkling in. If they could have started that for Damage Control at Backlash and then carried it over to Monday night, I think that would have been a good start. And turn. Originally, I was like, somebody turns on somebody, and then the other two go off alone. But then I was like, man, I think something should get screwed up, and then Io go off on her own because I think Io is ready to fly, literally, and Dakota still needs a little support, and I don't know how she would do as a babyface, or if everybody's ready to accept the hugger back or whatever the new creation of Bailey would be. But yeah,
I think based on the reaction in Puerto Rico, they're going to turn Io face and have her maybe feud with Bailey and Dakota Kai a little bit, and maybe make a feud there, which will probably lead to a tag team match with Bianca and Io versus Bailey and Dakota, which will then turn into a rematch with Bailey and Io, WWE booking 101. But I think that would be a good way to go.
Yeah, totally agree.
That match was so good. That Io Sky, Bianca Belair. And we called it. I said, man, match of the night, and it sure as hell was.
Yeah,
and shout out to the Wrestling Addicts, too. Man. He called out Carlito's return, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, man. I think I wanted it deep down inside, but nobody's heard Carlito's name pop up. But yeah, that was freaking, when his music hit, I was like, wait a minute. I spit in the face, and I was like, no! And everybody went nuts. Savio Vega, everybody went nuts.
Oh yeah, that pop was insane.
LWO came out, I thought, man, this is great booking. And I'm talking out of both sides of my face here when I say, yeah, I don't like when they play to the crowd that much. Hey, that was great. And I hope this turns into something where Carlito comes back, and he recently did an interview where, as long as the deal is good, he's into it. He'd come back in a heartbeat, and he's been making the rounds on the on the podcasts and socials and stuff. So we'll see what comes of it, man.
Yep. And then with everybody coming out, that led to that really great line by Priest about right before his match, how it took an island to beat him. I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
and man,
that's
Priest
good.
selling, like limping to the ring and all that, leading into that Raw match. And so speaking of Raw, it was a pretty good Raw. I mean, the Cody promo is a Cody promo. They're always great. Cody always has really good promos. And like you said, the AEW-ish shout out about, this was his home during the pandemic, the Duval chant. I was curious how Jacksonville was going to take him because of the AEW roots here.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. I was really curious whether he was going to get booed or not, but I think most people that go to the WWE match probably were WWE fans, and just wrestling fans. So, I mean, he's got cheer, but there was a little part of me that was like, I wonder how this is going to go down, because this is technically AEW's hometown.
Yeah, ViStar is right across the way from Daily Center, and you cross the street, the parking lot. It's literally the same parking lot. But the crowd was into it. The match was going, and I think we had talked about it before, just kind of like real quick in passing. And it wasn't like booking 101, because like what I would have done in my WWE brain is I would have let Cody win the match. Then Brock comes out and decimates him. Then he shows up on SmackDown, decimates the crowd, wins that match, and goes, Cody, I'll see you at Night of Champions. I'm gonna crush your face. Look at my face. And I want to fight. And they would have still gotten the fight. But I will say that this plays right into his hard times, even though he should have won at WrestleMania, and will be, I think this will be a good match. And I said earlier, like, I think blood is called for with this next match. I don't know what the rules are in Saudi.
Oh yeah.
So I will let the wrestling gods take over on this one, because I think
they may not be allowed to.
Yeah, and looking at how the card is going to play out, I mean, it's going to be a good one. And I don't think there's going to be anyone going home feeling bad. And the folks on Peacock, yeah, it's going to be a good card.
Yeah, I agree. So we had Rollins win that first triple threat, which I thought was a really good match. I thought they did some pretty good stuff. My only thing is, we all know Rollins was going to win it. So that was my only meh. Like, I was disappointed in that, but I do want to see Nakamura and Rollins in a program down the road. I think the two of them in a legit program, probably for the title, will be pretty good. I think.
Yeah, and that would be great for Nakamura, and it would be great international fans to say, oh my goodness, we've got a real, a world champion who's traveled all over, who's an international star instead of the homegrown.
Right.
So yeah, I think that would be a good thing. And like, do you think that Seth's character is sort of a play on Nakamura's character, like way he kind of comes out and dances and his entrance? And
yeah, it could be. I don't really get Seth's character. So like, he's not a baby face, but he's not really a heel. I don't understand his character. I haven't for a long time. Is he the Joker? Is he like, there's just something, I guess he's just Seth Rollins, which is fine. I just don't know, like, there's to go from what he was in the Shield to what he was after the Shield to this character, like what transitioned, like what happened? I mean, did having a baby make him go crazy? Like, I don't, or I guess she technically had the baby, but having a baby at home make him go crazy. I don't know what drove the ha ha ha, he. I don't know. But yeah, it could be a little rift on it. Obviously he played especially in this match, did very good babyface work because they worked over his leg. Or no, that wasn't the main event. Never mind. They worked over his arm. Finn Balor worked over his arm, and that was a good match too. Man, the in-ring on this Raw was fantastic. And I think there's something to the Cody effect. Like the matches and maybe it's just because I haven't been paying as much attention, but I feel like the wrestling on Raw and SmackDown has been getting better. Like each week I watch it, I'm like, oh man, these guys are getting good. Even I was watching, well, like almost. He's a prime example, like from what he was doing to now. And Dominic Mysterio in his match. Like I was supremely impressed. I was like, this is Dom. Like he looked really good against Austin Creed. Now, Xavier Woods is very seasoned and experienced, so he could probably carry a match a little better, which helped. But this is about the third or fourth outing in a row now where I've been like, man, Dominic doesn't look horrible. Like he actually looks pretty good. Yeah,
it's not a case of just hiding him in a tag team match or making him come out and scream mommy. It was, he's So then Rhea Ripley has a match with Dana Brooke.
Wow.
It goes all of
62 seconds. I think it was
62 seconds. Then she puts her little whatever that lock, the down under.
Yeah, that thing's pretty cool.
Whatever it is. I was like, wow, that's violent. Puts it on again, and out comes Natalya.
Ugh. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Now I appreciate Natalya. I think, she's a good hand.
Mm-hmm.
She's good for the locker room. She's good for the women's division. But we need to make some of the women characters strong. So when they're in a match, it's not like a foregone conclusion. Oh, Rhea's going to win. Oh, Rhea's going to win. Oh, great. Now we have to wait until Mania when she goes against, Becky or Trish or Charlotte comes back. So I don't know how we get there, but some of the call-ups I think are a good move for that. Build up Raquel Rodriguez a little bit, get her some shine. Do you do it with Zoe Stark, her being credible? Hell, do you make a call to Tessa Blanchard and go, hey, can you not be a jerk for a little while and take some sensitivity training, and we bring you back as the first woman that ever wore a world title, and but I think that's probably a bridge too far. But yeah,
I disagree. I think you have Rhea smash some people for a while. Well, don't make it weird, but I think you have Rhea just have like a Natalya match and have it go 2 minutes, and then have whoever, like, bring her out, like, I don't want to say jobbers, but bring her out people to just decimate and build her up as this monster. And then you have I'd say a baby face, because she's technically a heel, but she gets a baby face reaction.
Yeah, she's like the anti-hero, like the
so
Stone
it's really
Cold
weird.
And,
but build a challenger for her. Now, if you want to do a heel, Ronda Rousey's around the corner, or Shayna Baszler. Either one would be
awesome.
a really good
Shayna
challenge
Baszler.
and a good match for them.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Shayna and Rhea had a pretty decent match in NXT, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a way to go. Charlotte, I think, is going to SmackDown when she gets back, so that should probably be over there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that's off the books, I guess.
So, but yeah, and then speaking of the Rhea, like, I loved, which led to the Austin Creed match, or the Xavier Woods match later. I love the backstage. She's being interviewed and they're laughing, and Dom will take you on tonight. But I love when Rhea walks up to Zao, just goes, and then walks away. Like, yo, I ain't messing with this.
Hey, not tonight.
I'm out of here.
And then Xavier Woods is like, all right, dum-dum.
Yeah, it keeps calling him dum-dum. That was good stuff.
So I liked the introduction to Zoe Stark. I appreciated her on NXT. The call-ups so far have been very nice. I really expected, like, Braun Breaker to come in and just, like, wreck shop. But I see him on NXT still, so I don't know. I thought he already closed that program with Carmelo, and now, so we'll see what comes of that. Have you been watching the sort of the playback on Trish Stratus's promo?
Yeah.
So this is basically a regurgitation of a promo that she did where she basically said, no one is going to take my spotlight. And I was just like, man. But I like the touch. I like going back to history,
I like
reminding us
my tools.
Yeah,
I'm like, you know what you're doing.
Yes, you do. And then having Becky come back, I thought the crowd was really into it, and and the Xavier Woods match I thought was really good and really kept the crowd involved. And Dom, man, this dude,
He's getting better.
He's really on the mic doing some funny stuff.
It's funny. I think he's improved more working with Rhea Ripley than he did with his dad, who's a legendary. But part of that could be just styles, right? Like, he's not a luchador built style, so maybe he has a hard time doing the stuff his dad did.
That's true. Yeah.
Where, doing Rhea Ripley, doing the moves Rhea Ripley's doing is probably a lot easier for him.
Yeah.
Did you see the tweet with Dominic Mysterio where he's, I guess on the back of her gear, it said Dom Dom or Dominic. I think it said Dom Dom on her ass. So he tweeted out like, haha, my name's on her ass. And then Buddy Matthews responded like, your name might be there, but I get to touch it. Tee hee hee. I was like, that's an awesome tweet right there.
There you go.
He's like, but I get to touch it.
Jack. Yeah.
I thought that was really funny. I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was on Twitter. I was like, that's a good interaction right there. That's somebody who's like, you might have your name there, but yeah. That's like when Montez Ford played a clip of Bianca Belair like running to the ring or something in some tight pants, and he goes, I get to lick on that all night long. And I was like, whoa, dude.
Easy. There's kids here. That's funny. What'd you think about seeing Miz later on in the evening after his match?
I don't like the Miz. He's never really done anything for me. I think, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is about him. I guess maybe because I watched him on Real World and he was such a jerk.
Oh yeah.
But I just, I've never been a huge Miz fan. I think the Shinsuke Nakamura match, that guy, Shinsuke Nakamura match will be decent. I mean, Miz can get in there. He can put the work in. But anytime he's on the mic or anytime he's talking about anything, all he does is run through his Wikipedia page. I've done this, and this, and this, and this. I'm like, okay, so like we know you've done all that.
Grand champion.
Yeah, which is cool. I mean, it's a great achievement. But yeah, I mean, it was all right. It was good to see him back. Like, he's got a point. Like, if they'd have worked together, they could have won. But which one would have won? So I think it'll be a nice little mini program with him and Shinsuke until I think you're going to get a proper program with Shinsuke and Rollins. Because I think I called this a couple weeks ago, I think you're going to get a program between the New Day and Judgment Day. I think you're going to get Xavier Woods and Dom, maybe a rematch because, he held the tights and rolled them up. Maybe more interference. And then we're going to see the return of Big E hopefully soon. Knock on wood. I'd do that, but it would shake my camera. But, hopefully we'll see the return of Big E and Kofi. And then you've set up a pretty cool trios match. And then kind of whoever the New Day brings in as their female partner to deal with mommy over there, but Rhea Ripley.
What if they brought in Bianca Belair?
She's on the other show.
Damn, good point.
I mean, I would love it, and I'm not saying they won't, because I have a feeling within a month or two they're going to be cross-brand transferring all this other stuff anyway, because they never stick to the draft. But if they are going to stick to it like they promised they're going to, then they wouldn't do that. It wouldn't be her.
Or make like an official trade that involves, cash consideration and, the first pick of next year's draft or something like that. So, but they'd have to hold true to that. So when the draft started, it would have to be Raw with the first pick via a trade from SmackDown is drafting blah, blah, blah. But if they're not going to stick to it, then
and I don't think they would. That's my problem. Is I think it would just be. I don't trust WWE to stick to that. Now they surprised me though in the main event. Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. He gave him that powerbomb on Bury the Barricade and made a call out like, "Let me show you how it felt," because that was the powerbomb that took him out of the Universal title picture because he was getting that monster push. He was the inaugural Universal champion. So they make callbacks every once in a while, but it's like when it suits them. Hell, that might not have been scripted. That could have just been Finn Balor legit going, "Let me show you how this feels."
Hey, let me, here's a receipt, buddy. I've been looking forward to doing this. So great match. Kudos to Seth Rollins heading to the finals to be crowned the inaugural World Heavyweight Champion. Friday night SmackDown will have their 6 competitors, and I mean it's going to be interesting, and something that really screams telling is that McIntyre is not in even though he was drafted, he's not in the tournament. So
I was surprised to see Edge in it. So do you think they're setting up Edge Seth Rollins for the Saudi show?
I mean, does that make the title credible? Sort of, because it's Edge. More credible because it's Edge. More credible because it's Rollins, because Rollins has never lost to Roman. But I
see either Lashley, AJ Styles, or Edge, because I think any of the three of AJ Styles, because selfishly, I think that'd be a hell of a match. Lashley, I see because he's been a champion so many times, like that would add some credibility to it. However, he has lost to Austin Theory a few times, so maybe not. I think it's Edge. I think you run back Seth Rollins and Edge, and I mean, WWE does this all the time. They run back feuds over and over again, but the Saudi crowd loves their legends and their throwbacks.
That's true, yeah.
So I think the Prince probably said, I want to see Edge wrestle, so it'll be Edge and Seth Rollins. That's what I think, which again is surprising because I thought Edge was on his way out.
Yeah, he's got another year or so of elite level wrestling. Did not think it was going to be on a WWE ring, but yeah, that's interesting. I think I'm looking forward to the entire card of Night of Champions. All of the championships are going to be defended. You've got...
Are they? Is Roman going to defend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'll slap together a program in the next 2 weeks. I'm thinking Shinsuke will...
He's on Raw.
Try and... Man, I keep... yeah. And if
Lashley,
they do
maybe?
that, then...
He's in the tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, that just says that he's not winning the tournament. But...
Yeah, I don't know who they slap... Like... That was the issue when they did the draft. Like who's it going to be?
Yeah, who do you set up for Roman? Yeah, I mean, I think Lashley would be Spear versus Spear. They love Roman. They love their sort of legend-ish superstars. Lashley's a big hit over there. So,
but do you push Lashley that quickly into that feud? Because I think Lashley's probably a long-term one. I just don't know that you push him in 2 weeks. I just don't know who he's going to defend against. Maybe he does an open challenge and, at Night of Champions and Goldberg comes out. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Who knows? I'd be curious who they got planned for that.
Yeah. Nobody's worthy of going, I don't have an opponent, but I'm...
Sheamus, maybe?
Wow.
You could do Sheamus. I don't know. I guess we'll find out Friday night when we watch it, and maybe they'll drop some hints. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, you're not going to push the bloodline. You're not going to do Jimmy or Jay or Solo yet.
No, not yet. Not yet. Yeah,
it's not going to be any of them. Yeah, it's WWE. They're gonna roll somebody out there on Friday to interrupt or something, and then they'll do Night of Champions with them. So I had another theory, and I don't know how it would work, but I would love to see Brock show up on Friday and decimate one of the people in the tournament, and then win the tournament and go against Seth. And then I'd love to see Brock win over Seth, become your inaugural world champion. Now Cody, not only is he gotten his ass kicked a couple times by Brock, well, now Brock's got the title too. And it would be kind of a cool program to build to Cody winning the title. So he's gone through his hard times. He's gone through Brock. Maybe Brock beats him. Like, Brock turns the Night of Champions thing into a title match. Brock ends up winning. Cody's out for a little bit, comes back at SummerSlam, wins at SummerSlam over Brock Lesnar, who took him out. I think that'd be some cool storytelling. Don't think they'll do that, but it would be pretty cool.
That would be a lot of fun, because that gives instant credibility to, that'd be something. I'm looking at what the suspected card is going to be, and so Austin Theory against LA Knight.
Oh,
yeah,
I hope LA Knight wins.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome. Natty against Rhea. Bianca against a returning Charlotte.
Probably not.
Seth Rollins versus Sheamus for the heavyweight championship. Seth Rollins wins.
Oh, really? They see Sheamus winning the tournament.
And Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. And
well, that would work. Yeah, because AJ made a couple hints when he was on commentary about Roman, so I could see that.
and that would give some credibility to the OC too. Kind of elevate them with.
And you said the OC versus the Bloodline for a while.
Yeah, you got Matt Riddle against Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship.
Okay.
Here they're prognosticating that the Usos are going to win the tag team championships back before SmackDown or before Night of Champions and go against the Street Profits. Actually, here we go. Let me reread this. So it looks like they're prognosticating that the Street Profits will win the tag team championships, and
maybe that would make more sense because Imperium got their butts kicked by the Street Profits and then went toe to toe with the champions. So
yep.
Yeah, they could maybe use that as a way to spring into it. Cool. So how many beards do you give Raw, man?
I gave it 3.5. The crowd was into the promo. They stayed cool. And then, died off. And I was thinking through the WWE shows that I've gone to, and I was like, oh, yeah, I was always having to look up at the screens to see what was going on. And you're thinking to yourself, I just dropped $100 to watch on a big screen like this. I don't know. I got nothing. But, yeah, I thought it was a fun show. I liked that we're getting that it wasn't a one and done with Brock, kind of like what you said. When has it ever been a one and done? And I'm super interested in how the hard times are going to continue for Cody. Is Cody coming out the victor at Night of Champions? And if he does, is this a different looking Cody? And does that then make him ready to go on to be a champion? So we'll see, man. Super excited to see what happens. But all in all, a great weekend of wrestling. Friday was a great show. Saturday was a fantastic pay-per-view. And Monday was really strong. And like every Monday now, I compare, unfortunately, to the Monday after WrestleMania. And that really lowers the new bar. But yeah. But I think it was a fun show. Kudos to the boys and girls in the back. And yeah, man, hell yeah.
We've got a hell of a show coming up tonight, too, Wednesday night. Dynamite's going to be, I'm looking forward to this one tonight. But this is not an AEW review, so you'll have to tune in later. So for those of us, the one person who clicked on our view, we did try to do this live on YouTube, our first live stream on YouTube outside of the Fantasy Sports Corporation that we did on Saturdays. We're testing it out. I think maybe we'll start doing our review shows live here on YouTube. We'll work on getting it a little better, but obviously we'll release it in podcast too, so you guys will still get it wherever you get podcasts from. Make sure to check us out. No Shave Man Cave on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Google Podcasts, Audible.com, Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you know the drill. Wherever you listen to these beautiful sounding voices, check us out. Make sure you subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Just hit the button. It'll download. If you don't like us, unsubscribe later. Maybe you didn't like this one, well, you'll like the next one. But please give us a subscribe. And make sure you follow us on our social media at No Shave Man Cave for Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, and all the standard places you can get in touch with us. Our Gmail is noshavemancave@gmail.com. Drop us an email. We check it daily. We will be happy to interact with our fans. Love the Twitter comments. Please keep them coming, especially when we start doing these live shows. We'd love to see people interacting with us on this and, start maybe giving out some prizes or something when we see some interaction on the chat as we get better at this and can start doing these live streams a little better. But this will also go out on podcast tomorrow morning, so you won't get it live, but you'll get it a day delayed. And it's time for me to make that hot tag to my tag team partner.
Bump and feed, yes, sir. Hey, thank you all for all the love. Nearly 30,000 downloads, almost 800 followers on Twitter. We started with one, and now here we are. Super humble. Thank you so much. To our brothers and sisters in arms, thank you so much for your service. Some gave all, and all gave some. So until next time, my friends, my fam, everybody out there, stay safe. Look out for yourselves. Look out for each other. And I'll see you on the floor.
You've been listening to the No Shave Man Cave.
If it's pro wrestling, we're talking about it. Unless we see something shiny and wander off into the woods. If you hang around long enough, we'll eventually come back. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Fire off your comments and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit us up on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at No Shave Men Cave. Y'all be cool, and we'll see you next time on the No Shave Men Cave.